After an exasperating 90 minutes of Premier League action at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Arsenal, the scoreline read 1-0 in favour of Mikel Arteta's Gunners. The North London club had yet again beaten their London rivals for the third game in a row at the Bridge. London was red, and the win was a resounding warning to the rest of the league that they meant business, further strengthening their claim as title favourites. However, if there was ever an indicator of just how well things are going at the club right now, it came at the end of last month's 3-0 win at Brentford. The full-time whistle had just gone, and the players were all heading over to the travelling fans at the Gtech Community Stadium to celebrate a sixth win in 7 Premier League games. And that's when it happened. We've got Granit Xhaka, we've got Granit Xhaka, we've got Granit Xhaka, we've got Granit Xhaka. That was the song that was bellowing out of the joyous away end as Mikel Arteta's squad stood in front of the Arsenal fans, waving, clapping, and expressing their gratitude for all the support. For Xhaka, it was an unforgettable moment. While this would have been a normal occurrence on a normal day, fans singing the name of one of their players. But this was Xhaka, not an ordinary player, at least when it comes to his relationship with the Arsenal fans. Let's roll it back a little. The midfielder's career seemed to be over on a gloomy night at the Emirates Stadium during the Gunners' extraordinary 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace in October 2019. Having thrown away a 2-0 lead, the Gunners were desperately searching for a third goal, and the then-manager Unai Emery hurled off the then-captain, sending on Bukayo Saka. After his number had gone up on the electronic board to mark his withdrawal, sarcastic jeers echoed around the Emirates. In response, Xhaka cupped his ear and could clearly be seen telling his own fans to F off before throwing his shirt to the ground as he trudged straight down the tunnel. He was stripped of the club captaincy and dropped from the team altogether. Anyone who witnessed the sorry saga could have been forgiven for thinking Xhaka had played his last game for the Gunners. He was no different. He was ready to leave. In his own words, during a recent interview, he said, "My bags were packed, the passports were out, I was done with Arsenal, finished. There was a contract on the table from another club, and all I had to do was sign. I had talked to my wife, Leonita, and we had decided to leave. I was just going to say goodbye to Arsenal, and then we would board the plane." However, there was a change. Out went Emery, and in came Mikel Arteta. And what followed was an active intervention from the Spaniard that the Gunners are now firmly reaping the benefits of. 3 years since the incident, Xhaka is in the best form of his Arsenal career, and comfortably one of the first names on the team sheet. But things could have been so different had the Spanish manager not convinced him to stay. Jose Mourinho and AS Roma were seriously interested in the midfielder and could sign him up were it not for Arteta and Edu. Quizzed on why he remains an Arsenal player, he added, "Because Mikel was the guy with Edu, they didn't let me go because they wanted to keep me here. Of course, my first reaction was to stay at the football club, but they opened the door. If something comes, I can leave. I have to be honest as well, I don't want to say a name now, but the door was open for me to leave the club as well. But in the end, people decided to keep me here." But how has Arteta made Xhaka so integral? The Swiss international has always drawn divided opinion from fans, not only at Arsenal, but even his days in Germany. His aggressive style of play has seen him pick up 5 red cards and over 50 yellow cards since joining the club. But there's no denying he got immense qualities that Arsene Wenger saw when he signed him in 2016. Despite these glaring qualities, there have been questions on which is the perfect position for the 30-year-old, which we believe Arteta has found answers to. The Spaniard has pushed Xhaka to a more advanced role in recent months, operating much more like a number 8 in a more proactive role than in previous seasons when he's sat deeper. Although we've seen glimpses of what Xhaka can produce in such a role when he's played for Switzerland, his capacity to do so at Arsenal has often been overlooked. His impact, though, in the past few months has been clear. He has incorporated well-timed runs into the box in his game, which has helped him create more chances for his teammates. He's showing he can be a huge asset to Arsenal's attacking play and is now looking like a player who's been genuinely transformed. Perhaps Wenger was right all along. Speaking in September 2016, the former Arsenal manager explained the midfielder's best position. "I personally prefer him as a box-to-box player," said Wenger. "He has the engine, he has the power, he has the long pass, and he definitely has the shot. Overall, Xhaka is a complex player to analyze, but in truth, his ability has never really been the problem. At his best, he can easily dictate the flow of the game, and what is arguably even more impressive is just how off the pace Arsenal have looked without him. In recent months, in particular, he has offered the kind of technical quality mixed with courage few players can boast, while also offering leadership within a young, impressionable changing room. Against Chelsea, for instance, playing alongside Thomas Partey, he was almost unplayable, helping the Gunners dominate the midfield battle, popping up now and then with a handy bit of work, either with or without the ball. His goal in the North London derby saw the Emirates collectively put their arms round a man they are now proud to have wearing their shirt. He's now a popular scorer. And the standing ovation at the end of that match all but showed that the fans were once again in love with the hard-tackling midfielder. Away from the table-topping Gunners. Every time that plays at the World Cup always fancy their chances, and Switzerland is no different. Led by the midfielder, who will be playing in his third tournament, the team is considered among the dark horses who could spring a surprise in Qatar. With 106 caps and 12 goals to his name for his country since making his debut in 2011, Granit is one of the most experienced players in the squad and played in all their games at the 2014 and 2018 tournaments, scoring a single goal in each edition, including one against the Serbians in Russia 4 years ago. This will, however, be his first tournament as captain, and just like past years, he will lead a formidable midfield, which also has the likes of former Liverpool star Xherdan Shaqiri, who currently plays for Chicago Fire, as well as Chelsea's Denis Zakaria. With Switzerland in the same group as Brazil, Serbia, and Cameroon, Xhaka will face teammates Gabriel Martinelli and Jesus when the Swiss face the South American nation. Can Xhaka help them reach the quarterfinals for the first time since 1954?